So good morning, everyone. This is Connie Burke from OASAS, joining you all along with colleagues from OASAS for our monthly Opioid Settlement Fund Regional Abatement Meeting. So happy to see you all. I have to say that our agenda this morning is light. And so that always gives us opportunity to have discussion and ask questions and share with each other. So we'll have some time for that if anyone would like to. I do want to let everybody know, reporting, right? It's that time of year. We're talking about our reporting. And when I say that, that is in reference to both the regional abatement annual reporting as well as the direct share annual reporting. And the reason we talk about the direct share reporting with this group is that there are instances where LGUs do complete those reports, both of those reports. So you have responsibility kind of for both pots of money, if you will. So I do want to speak to that in a moment, but with regional abatement, I'm very, very, very happy to say that we have reports from 57 of the 57 LGUs who need to report. So thank you so much for that. We have received, yay, yes, we should all be clapping. Wait, where's the little emojis? I got to send up a clapping emoji, but I don't know if I know how. There we go. Okay, woo, there I am. I'm cheering you guys on. And for the other litigating entities, we have received 20 out of 21 reports. So yay, that's awesome. So we've got one entity outstanding there, and hopefully we'll get that squared away soon. And then in terms of the large cities, we have 4 of the 5 reports from the large cities. So we're also working to chase down that one last one. So awesome. That's 81 out of 83 submissions in hand. You know that we, as our standard practice, once we have the report, we kind of say, we check the box, we've received the report from you. And then we move on to processing your payment for the current fiscal year. So we are waiting on, although the budget's out, we do receive a file specific, that's very specific from DOB on the regional abatement amounts. And so we're waiting on that final file from DOB. We will then calculate the payments based on that. And our goal and our want, that's GMSP and the Division of Fiscal Administration, are striving to have payments out mid-August. Given the timing for the other work that goes out, or the other work that is done through DFA in terms of quarterly payments for October, we're trying to get ahead of that effort and get the regional abatement payments out in August. So stay tuned on that. And you will know because you will get an email that says, hey, it's coming. Any questions about the reporting, regional abatement reporting, or the timeline for our 27 payments? Feel free to use the chat or unmute and go ahead and ask or raise your hand and we can help you unmute. I don't see anything. I'm scanning the screens here. Oh, I just saw a hand go up. Adam. So Adam,
sorry, I just tried to unmute. There you go. Yes. Should we use our?
You're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me.
I can hear it.
Okay.
I can
or
hear
see you, Adam.
Okay. The camera's not working. I'm on the browser.
I might suggest putting your question or comment in the chat.
Yeah,
it appears we can't see or hear you.
Okay.
Oh, you can hear him, Christine? Oh, I can't hear him?
Yeah, we can hear him.
I can hear him too.
It's just me.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. So you still can't hear me?
No, Adam, they can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Adam.
but you guys can
Okay,
hear me.
just a quick question. We awarded our county grants in 24.
I'm going to switch audio.
Didn't
Apparently,
award any more
I'm
in
the problem.
25, but they were multi-year grants. So we just put down the amount that was spent in 24 or 25, not the full grant amount that was awarded the previous year. Or we list the full grant amount and awarded and just what was spent in 25.
So I believe, Adam, that the reporting structure still involves encumbered and spent. So if you have contracted for a certain dollar amount, that would go in the encumbered, as in it's the amount that you can't spend someplace else for whatever category you're putting those contracts into. And then the spent amount would be what you paid out.
What they spent in the year.
Yep.
Okay, so the encumbered amount will be the same from 24 to 25 because they were multi-year grants, and then the spending is just for this year. Great. Sorry about my technical difficulties.
No worries.
WebEx app wasn't working. I'm in Chrome, so thanks.
No worries. Yep.
And I can hear you now. Yay. Thank you, Christine. Other questions folks have? All right. And then the other thing we wanted to touch base with you on with regard to the direct share reporting. We've talked about this, I believe we've talked about this, but for awareness, it is this year was the first year that the Attorney General's office was able to give us exact amounts for the direct share payments. And when I say exact amounts, I mean also teasing out unrestricted versus restricted dollars. And which is fantastic because the statute requires that entities report out on the use of the restricted share. We do not need to collect information on the unrestricted portion of the direct share. And so because we have exact figures this year for the first time for the restricted amount, cumulatively, right, for each year. I'm just gonna, Sue, could you mute your phone? If Kristen, if you can mute Sue. So the first year that we have exact number. So we are almost kind of like looking at it as a clean sheet. And we're saying, even if you have reported on your direct share in previous years, there are, I think, around 30 or 31 entities that did provide us some report information on direct share. Even if you've done that, we're asking that for this year's report, you report out on the amount you've received cumulatively to date, because we have an exact figure for that. And again, we've also teased out the direct restricted versus unrestricted. So we just wanted to make sure that folks were clear in terms of what information should be provided on this year's direct share report. And know that next year, we'll follow the same. So Jay and Sue, if you would both. Sue's not. Can you do that, Kristen? No, thank you. So on next year's direct share, we will assume likely the same practice as we have with regional abatement, where if you report it out on an X amount, we'll subtract that from what's available so that you're only reporting out once on what you've used. So we are going to send an email communication to everyone who we have on our direct share reporting list. And we're going to clarify that in case folks have any uncertainty. I know Kristen was getting some phone calls around that. So we just want to make sure that we've explained that and that people are clear what we're asking and why we're asking it this way. Adam, I see your hand up. I don't know if that's left over or if you have a new question.
No question. No question.
Okay, okay, that's okay. That's okay. Any questions or concerns there?
Connie, this is Michael from Westchester. Just a quick question. I think it sounds like we'll probably have to unbraid the funding because the way our county does it in Westchester, they put restricted and unrestricted direct into the same pot of money, and we adhere to the same standards and guidelines as restricted funds. So what we'll have to do, I guess, is kind of braid them separately and go through all of our awards to try to separate the restricted and unrestricted for the purpose of this data reporting.
Yeah, I mean, another way to look at it, Michael, is that, you know, you get $5 million, two's restricted, three isn't. I'm just making up numbers, right? And so report out on as much as $2 million worth of what you've done. If you're treating all those dollars in the same way, they're all meeting the requirement, right? But yes, we are asking about restricted only. Because
Okay,
you're not
thank you.
report out, yeah, on the
Well,
unrestricted.
Connie, another thought is when you send out the reporting for the LGUs at this point, we have a dollar amount at the top of our report that we have to be accountable to. If you have those exact dollars, is that at the top of the report for those direct funds too? So at least you know how much of the, okay.
Yep, we do it that way, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Joy, you have a question? Oh, I'm not hearing Joy, but I also know I think you're not unmuted, Joy.
She put in the chat and asked how to unmute.
Yeah, I think it's not letting her.
So Kristen, can you unmute individually?
I tried it and I requested unmute her, but it's I don't know if it didn't work on her end. It wouldn't let me do it for some reason. Joy, do you mind maybe putting your question in the chat? I apologize. I'm not sure what's going on, why it's not unmuting you. Would that work for you, please?
I have to say that we've had a few meetings over the last week with this newest version of WebEx, and it's left me stumped a couple times too, trying to figure out where the controls are. So we'll try to get better instructions or understanding as to how to unmute, so folks know.
Oh, okay. This
There
is
you
Joy.
go.
Yeah, sorry, I was clicking on the picture of me, the unmute. I see that you have to do it below. So, I guess my question is, Kristen Lynch, I believe it was, helped me tremendously and trained me on how to report these reports, these Opioid Settlement Fund Regional Abatement reports. Are you changing this now?
No. So the regional abatement report has not changed.
So it's still the same as Kristen told me.
Yes. So the regional abatement report format has not changed. And it's been the same for the last few years. It is only the direct share that we're trying to kind of align and have.
Can you look up to? I'm looking and I don't see anything in my folder that talks about direct and.
So Joy, I don't know if you are the designee for the direct share. We receive information from the Attorney General's office as to who the lead or the contact is in each county for direct share reporting.
Does anybody know whose mine is?
So we can ask Kristen to look it up, and we'll circle back with you to make sure that if not you, you know who that person is, and it's to them that we would send the direct share report request. In some instances, when we first implemented the direct share reporting, counties did coordinate and make a decision to have the LGU responsible for both regional abatement and direct share reporting, in which case we updated our contact list. So
it's either myself or the director, Kristen Snyder-Branner, I would imagine.
Yeah, and actually, Joy, in some instances, we had the county attorney, we had the county fiscal officer, we had all different kinds of folks on our contact that was provided. So we will look to see who is listed and we will circle back with you. And if it needs to be updated so that it does go to you, we can certainly do that and make sure the Attorney General's office is aware as well. So we will close the loop with you after the meeting for sure.
I'll send
Okay,
an email to
thank
it, okay?
you.
You got it.
Sure. Other questions or concerns folks have? Okay, I do want to mention I think it was last year we had talked about the LGU's interest and ability in helping us to reach grassroots organizations with opioid settlement dollars. Um, Things take time, as we all know, and so know that we are looking at with our fiscal year 27 grassroots funding, how can we create an opportunity that would include the LGUs receiving some of the dollars to then pass on to the grassroots organizations as the experts in services in your county. You may well have a better sense of who are the grassroots organizations and may even have already established a mechanism for being able to contract and work with them. And so we want to further support that effort. It's one of a few different ways that we are strategizing to work with the grassroots or small CBOs across the state. So know that we are looking at the application process. What would that look like? There's still a lot of questions, right, that we need to think through, but know that we are pursuing that option. So stay tuned for more information on that. As I reminded folks I work with this morning, it will take time to work through, the application process and how we can do this. So it won't be quick, but it is in the hopper. There is a question in the chat. Does our unit get info on the amount of restricted and unrestricted direct funds provided to counties? And that is a yes. And as I said earlier, this is the first year that the Attorney General's office, in giving us the dollar amounts that were distributed, that they separated out restricted versus unrestricted. In past years, they just gave us like a lump amount. And two, you all know, based on settlement, the amount of restricted versus unrestricted can vary by settlement. And so we didn't have that fine detail. This year, however, the Attorney General's office is providing us with that drilled down information. So when we send the direct share report out, we are specifically speaking to the restricted direct share amount that entities must report on. Hopefully that answers your question, Trevor. Joy, do you have another question? Your hand's up, and I want to be sure. No? Okay. Okay. Other questions? I'm just looking for other hands. Always feel free to enter a question or comment in the chat. All right. I hope this is still useful time together. I feel, I know much is spent on reporting and I know, everybody, I appreciate just a chance to check in and all like be in a room together, right? To be able to answer questions and hear from one another. We don't always have really juicy updates to talk about. The reporting might be a little bit more on the dry side. Okay, so having said that, any other questions, concerns, comments that folks have? Anything that you're even looking for input from your fellow LGUs on with regard to the OSF regional abatement?
Hello, it's Joy again.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. So I have a report that I made myself of the check dates and the revenue as to how much we received. And the last revenue that I see that we received was October 2025. Is that correct?
So, yes, that's right. So that October 25 payment was for fiscal year 26, and we are readying payments for fiscal year 27.
In August?
We're hoping for August. We are shooting
Okay.
for August so that there isn't a delay until October.
27. So that'll be 27 that we receive in August 26.
Correct.
Hoping. Okay.
Other anything? Questions, issues, comments? I hope that folks have had opportunity or kept an eye on the commissioner's listening sessions that she is doing across the state. We do have information on our webpage about that, and and invite and strongly encourage you all to attend those sessions and to participate. I was able to go to one. And it was great to hear. Actually, there were folks from the county there, and there was someone from the city police department there talking about the use of opioid settlement dollars and the collaboration and coordination at the county level, and with the city as well. So it was really a great conversation, and great information was shared. So if you have not checked out the list of locations and dates, I encourage you to do that. And I know the commission would love to see you there. All right, I'm gonna head towards the going once, going twice. Looking for hands or a moment's pause for anyone who wants to unmute themselves to ask a question or make a comment. Also looking at the chat. Oh, we good? All right, folks, I hope you enjoy the rest of the summer. I hate to say it's a downhill slide already. Our days are getting shorter, unfortunately, but let's enjoy every moment of it that we can. I hope you all are doing well, and we'll see you next month. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye.